Hi, friends. I'm Scott Giles, minister and hypnotist, and welcome to Power Talk, my podcast where I cover topics that interest me, focusing on how you can use the power of your mind to take control of your life. If you want to know more about my professional work or sign up for my free e-newsletter, Powerlines, check out my website, which I'll tag in the description. Well, today I want to return to a theme I've dealt with before, that we seem to be living in a scam society. Everywhere we turn these days, it seems that people are trying to take advantage of us. We get emails from Nigerian princes who want us to help them with their finances. We get people saying they want to help us invest in cryptocurrency when they're actually trying to steal. I get 5 to 7 spam calls per day on my office phone, to the point where my phone is hardly useful as a phone anymore. I get calls from people claiming to be from the IRS, informing me that an arrest warrant for back taxes has been issued for me, which is nonsense. I don't have back taxes, and the IRS doesn't call you anyway. I get emails telling me I've ordered things I did not order and which want me to call a phone number to give them my banking information to get it corrected. I've lost count of the number of messages I receive on Facebook from senders claiming to be pretty young women who want to chat with me because they think I'm hot. I'm not. But they do this to set me up for a request for money. Or all the software companies that no longer want to sell you a computer program or app. They want to sell you a monthly subscription that will keep on billing you even after you've stopped using the program or have amortized the value that you used to get from it. Or the banks and companies that try to sell you something every time you log on to their website, and even if you click on the opt-out option for those ads, they just hit you up with different ads next time. And on and on. It seems like scams are everywhere. And some of these scams are not from criminals, but from people who are just pushing the limits of what is legal. The restaurant, which has one set of prices on the menu, but when you get the check, you discover there are all sorts of additional fees added that have not been disclosed. You get to a computerized self-serve checkout counter, and the counter computer asks you for a tip. And then there is the scam that I find most harmful, which I call the hustle culture. That's when your employer tells you that merely giving 100% of your effort isn't enough. You're expected to give 120% or something like that, meaning that your employer wants you to do more work than you're paid to do. Or insurance companies that are excited to sell you a policy but then refuse to pay any claims. These are all scams, just different kinds of scam. Now, if you are careful and a little savvy, you can avoid the downside of this. You can decline to answer phone calls from numbers you don't recognize. You can decline to provide your banking information to someone online, calling the number on the back of your credit card to check if an email or call seems to have come from a credit card company. You can learn about and ignore the tricks and traps. But there's something insidious going on here. You see, I think the real problem with all of the attempts to scam people is that we as a society are losing trust in each other and in our institutions. Nowadays, you get a piece of information and your first instinct is to distrust it. That can't be good. Most scams are designed to prey on opportunistic feelings of greed or compassion, and the sheer number of them results in our having less empathy for genuine issues because we come to suspect that they're not as real as they have been presented. I mean, let's just universalize this for a moment as a thought experiment. What would it be like to live in a society where lawmakers pass laws, but everyone knows the laws are just scams to make the rich richer and are not for the public good at all? Or if the courts start making decisions that people come to believe are corrupt and are intended to facilitate exploitation of common people. Now, the very fact that many of you just heard me say those things, and you probably thought to yourself, that's kind of happening already. That shows you how deep the rot has already become. And so a lot of us walk around believing that everything is rigged against us. And politicians exploit that belief and promise to be agents of change, but once in office, it's business as usual. So we start to feel helpless. I mean, a pluralistic society cannot exist if we all come to believe that everyone else is trying to take advantage. Now, the philosophical person is also a historically literate person. History shows us that we've been here before in human civilization. I mean, you can find YouTube videos showing 19th century ads for patent medicine promising relief for just about every human problem in a bottle that turned out to contain mostly alcohol or blends of cocaine and opium. There was a time when everyone carried a pistol because we knew the cops were corrupt and trust for one's fellow person was scarce. What happens when scams become normal is that people no longer have an expectation of honesty. They believe nothing. They question everything. And they do something else. And I think that this is starting to happen now. Historically, in scam societies, people begin to find ways to work around the corruption. Sometimes they do something major, such as a switch to the barter economy that we saw during the Weimar Republic in Germany, or during the Reconstruction and carpetbagger times in America. But more commonly, they will start to develop networks of individually trusted people. And they will rely on those networks rather than public information. This has the effect of weakening the sort of Orwellian power of the state and the corporation, and the pendulum starts to swing in the other direction. I suspect this will happen to us. The information we will get from these personal networks may not be as high quality as is available, but it will likely be better quality than information laced with scams. And that probably is what we're headed for. It bothers me, but the human mind is infinitely clever and will find ways to work around attempts to control us. And I think that will happen. I'm not sure what the result will be, but there are days when I think it can't possibly be any worse. Hey, thank you for your time and attention today. I'll be back next week with another talk on a different subject. I'd like to invite you to join me. It helps me a lot if you let others know about my videos, so please like, share, and subscribe. If you're wondering if I can be of help to you, feel free to reach out through my website for a free, no-obligation screening call, and we'll talk about it. Have a great week.